Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to work on some of the problems on quiz 6. Before we begin, we need to know that create view statement must be within its own batch. So what is a batch? A batch is a series of statements that you want to execute together. In Management Studio, when you highlight lines of code to execute, they are in one batch. To separate between two batches automatically in a script file, we can use the go command. The go command is not a SQL statement, but it is just a command within Management Studio. Because I want you to be able to execute the whole file all at once, you need to place the go command where it is needed correctly. Another thing we need to do before creating each view is we need to check if that view already exists in the database by using the object ID function. If the function doesn't return a null value, in other words, it returns the ID of the object, that means we already have that object in the database. As a result, we need to delete that object before creating it. Now let's go ahead and do number 1. So this is for number 1 first. Again, like I said, we check whether or not that object, or in this case, the view vendor address, is already in the database. If it's not, then we're going to drop it first. And we need to put go right before create view statement, so that that if statement is going to be within its own batch, and create view is going to be in another batch. Now let's execute this. As you can see, we are getting an error message. We read on towards the end. Anytime when you use with schema binding, basically you're telling the server that you want to bind this view to the base table. In order to use the base table correctly, you need to type the default schema, which is dbo.vendors. Let's try again. So when you're done creating a view, you're not going to get any results on the screen. Basically, it becomes an object attached to the database. If you want to test it, and in this case, we want to test in the same file, we need to put another go command right after this to end that batch. Moving on to number 2. Now we're going to do a simple select statement. From that view, vendor address. Now we can highlight this, select statement. See what will happen. Now, because we code everything correctly, we have that if statement to check whether or not that view is already in a database. We have the go command correctly in 2 places. Anytime you want to retest this, you don't have to highlight anything, just click execute. Now moving on to number 3. we're going to repeat the process. So we're going to start with this if statement. Again, this is the end of the create view statement. You need to end it with go. And this time within number 3, you have to write another select statement to test that view. Now again, you can just click execute, and number 1, 2, and 3 will be executed all together, like this. As you can see, number 1, we simply created the view. On number 2, we tested, and we get 1 row. Number 3, we create the view, invoice basic, and then we tested it, and now we get 114 rows. Moving on to number 4. And now we have to test that view. And again, we can simply click execute, and we'll get the results for number 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you don't click execute altogether for the whole thing, if you want to do individually, you have to make sure that you create that view first before you can use select statement with that view. Now, hopefully you guys can finish number 5 to number 9 now, and that's This is the end of this video.